Welcome to Single Ever After. Join me as I journey through the jungle of dating in search of my true love.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining again. Today, I wanted to talk about patience and when have you given too much? So, for me, I just think in general, I probably have a lot of patience. I probably give way too many chances, way more than I need to, which is funny because I do definitely have like some hard stops and deal breakers. But just to give some context and background, I started a couple months ago. I reconnected with somebody from my past, an old flame, and we live in different states, so we cannot see each other to go like on dates or anything like that. Most of our communication is done by phone, and it could be FaceTime, it could be text, it could be voice memos. So that's how that's been going. Obviously it's still, considered early stages because, we haven't even actually gone on a date yet, right? So it's just kind of like getting to know each other again, getting to know, this version of them, the adult version of them, and vice versa. And I think, like, for me, I see this as a great opportunity to really kind of like, take time, get to know each other, dive in deep, ask those like questions that, you want to know the answer to, because what's the worst that can happen? We're not around each other. We can't see each other. I think that takes away from the nervousness of asking the things you really want to ask. Is like, you don't have to see this person. You can kind of ask your question and disappear, and then come back with another question, and then disappear again and come back with another question, versus like, oh, I asked that question, I feel a little awkward asking, and then I'm going to go out with them. Let's see how this interaction is going to go, So I don't know. For me, it just feels like it takes the edge off. I am surprisingly quite shy in person when it comes to talking to someone. And yeah, I feel like I'm super awkward. So being able to like build on something over the phone, long distance, like that's my jam. I really like that. So I would say that initially I thought it was going okay, and obviously because it's like brand spanking new. So, we're like staying in contact, talking to each other, I would say regularly, probably like every day. And now that has kind of dwindled down, right? Which I guess maybe is to be expected. I don't know. I have a different opinion on that. But I feel like we don't necessarily talk as much as we initially did, which is okay. Out of sight, out of mind. I get that. But like the conversations we have had have, in my opinion, been really good and helpful in getting to know each other. Especially me trying to understand him and what he's looking for, and like where he is right now, and where I am right now, like just being very honest and clear about like what it is that we each want. And we've made plans to actually, see each other in person. So it's not like that's off the table, right? Those plans are there. And like, based on how that goes, that would then be like next step. What do we do? Right. But I just feel like in some of like our interactions lately, it hasn't been as much communication as I would like. And the reason why I would like more communication is just because like we don't have anything but time and opportunity between now and when we're supposed to see each other. So I just see it as like, let's get a lot of the heavy lifting out of the way. That's how I view it. Like, spend the time now, get the heavy lifting out of the way. And like when we see each other in person, it's really just to see if the vibes and connection is there. But as far as everything else, aligning on, our wants and our needs from a partner in a relationship, to me, that'll already be taken care of. It's just like more of like a formality to just be like, okay, yep, this works, So I don't feel like we've like capitalized on this time right now. And there's a couple things. I'm kind of I'm kind of a control freak. I like things to be a certain way, my way, most of the time, because it's probably right. And structure, and that all obviously stems from like past things, but I like to know what's happening. I like to be in control of situations, and I don't like for any like unexpected twists and turns, because if there is going to be a twist and turn, best believe I plan for it. So I already know, okay, this is a possibility or that's a possibility. You know, I don't really like I'm not saying I don't like to go with the flow. I do to an extent, though. I feel like if there are things that you can control, why wouldn't you want to control them and just make sure that it goes the way you want it to go, you know, if you can make that happen. So there's that. And then the other thing is like, he's not that big of a communicator like in this forum. So he said to me, you know, in person, I am a lot better at communicating, which I get. Some people are like that. Like some people aren't great at texting or talking on the phone, you know, or, you know, video chatting or whatever. And they are better in person, which I get. But I'm just like, we don't have the luxury of being in person. So like, maybe try to get a little bit better in the ways that we can communicate, you know, right now. Why not? Just take the opportunity. And I will say that when we do talk, I do feel like our conversations are fruitful. I feel like I learn a lot. I feel like I understand him more each time. I definitely feel like when we do talk, like I don't see him to be a liar. I feel like when he speaks to me, it's with conviction and I believe what he says, right? And part of it is because I've known him before. He's somebody from my past. And I haven't known him to be a liar before. So, you know, there's like a little history there. So it's not like I'm just like, oh my God, you know, I haven't hung out with him, but I believe everything he says. Like, no, I've known this person, right? So I'm just like, it's not as though when we do talk, I'm, you know, like hesitant about the things I'm being told. It's just that I just don't feel like we talk enough. And considering like we both kind of seem to be, I think, on the same path, you know, I know on the same path. I'm not gonna say I think. Considering we are both on the same path, I would think that he'd want to use this time a little bit more to be better at building those, you know, communication skills, just because of the distance between us. And I don't know. I feel like I've been patient. I feel like I've been beyond patient. I feel like I've been super understanding, but like, I'm really frustrated sometimes, you know, like I get super frustrated because I'm like, I get this is how you are and this is probably not intentional, but like, wouldn't you want to be better? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm putting too much on it or too much thought into it, or, you know, I'm just like, okay, so you're not that big of a communicator, you know, in terms of texting and all this, you know, you're better in person. I get that. But now that I am in your life and now that you have somebody to, you know, have that constant line of contact with, is that not crossing your mind as like, oh, let me message her, let me call her, let me FaceTime her, you know, like, it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing. So to me, I'm like, well, I'm in the same category as everybody else that just doesn't hear from you, you know, very regularly. Cool. Then what is this? Like, if you're not, I don't know how to explain it, but if you're not like putting in that little extra effort for me, then like, what are we doing? Because should I take these as signs as a future of a relationship? Like the communication, is this like something that I should be like, I don't like it now. It could become a bigger problem later. So unless it's nipped in the bud now and it's at a level that I'm comfortable with, then why waste my time and like end up probably back at the same place where it's like, well, before you took this further, you already knew this was an issue and it was never resolved, you know, to a level that you were comfortable with, you know? So that's kind of like where I am. I'm trying not to put too much into it. But also, like, when it comes to my patients, like I said, I felt like I've had a lot of patience with this. I feel like I've given ample opportunity. I felt like I've voiced my, dislike with how it's going. I felt like I've been very clear about that. Like, this is a challenge and I don't like it. And I feel like you can do better. And why aren't you doing better? Like, I feel like I've said all of those things. I don't think I tiptoe around, what it is I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, or anything like that. That's like big for me, because I don't want anybody to tiptoe around with me. I want people to be direct and very clear with me on if there's an issue, what the issue is, so that I can understand and hopefully we can work towards a resolution, right? And I feel like I've done all of that. And now that I've given so much patience, it's like, okay, when are you going to pull the plug? Because, like, it's not working for you. You've tried, you've voiced your, concerns. There really hasn't been much change. So when are you going to be like, yeah, no? And the thing is, for me, the yeah, no happens very suddenly. It isn't a gradual. It isn't like, yeah, I'm going to fall back, but if he pops up and, comes around, I'll entertain this again. For me, it's a quick and swift, like, sever. Like, yeah, no, this isn't working out. I am now checked out and I don't have time anymore. Like, I'm no longer interested. And I'm really trying not to get to that point, because I really feel like there is some potential here. But, like, I know myself, and I really feel like I'm getting to that point where I'm like, yeah, I'm good on you. And then I'll just disappear just as quickly as I appeared, kind of thing. So yeah, patience for me. I feel like I have a lot of it. I tend to give so many chances, and that stems from other situations and other things that have led me down this path of, like, you got to give people an opportunity. It might not be an immediate, fix, or you might not get exactly the resolution you're hoping for, but it's something, so I feel like I've exhausted that. And now I'm like, when is it enough? I feel like it's enough. And I'm also like, if I give this much patience for this, does this, make the person think that they can just, like, walk all over me? Like, is that what I'm presenting by giving this much patience? Like, I don't know. I don't want them to think that. So yeah, I am struggling, and I'm trying really hard to not just, like, be done with it and be like, yeah, no, I'm over it. But yeah, no, I'm over it. I am. I feel like I am. But I don't want to be. I want to kind of continue to see this through, at least until we, get to those plans that we had of hanging out with each other and seeing, if it's worth it. But yeah, no, I'm kind of like, oof. I am tapped out on the patience train. So I don't know. I think for now, I'm going to continue. At least until, like I said, our hangout plans. And we'll see what happens after that. If we even make it there at this point. Who knows? But keep you posted. Let me know, for you, like, what's your patience meter? Is it one little thing and you're like, nah, I'm good, I'm out of here? Or is it like me, where you're like, okay, let's try to be open-minded, let's try to be understanding, let's continue on, and what's the worst that can happen? And just always trying to think of, like, the positive side of it and waiting it out and what the outcome could be, versus just cutting it off before it even becomes a thing. Let me know. And as always, remember to keep your hearts open to love.